Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is your boy Ansel Armstrong back again. Today we have a huge video because we're talking about July. We're talking about player of the month. We're talking about what to do to invest. As you can see here on the new schedule behind me, on the 16th, July 16th, next Thursday, we're having player of the month. The entire program's dropping. We're going to be talking about what to invest in to make a ton of stubs. If you watched last episode and you invested based off that, you could have made some insane amount of stubs. We correctly predicted the Mike Zunino player of the month card. A lot of people were overlooking that one. We nailed the Zunino one. My kind of wild card pick is going to be Mike Zunino. And some of those catchers got up to 6,000, 7,000 stubs for some of those gold catchers you were able to pick up at quick sale just a couple days before. So I'm telling you, hey, we know a thing or two. I'm feeling really good about these predictions as well. So let's dive into what we're looking at for player of the month. Let's take a look at some of the 17, 18, and 19 cards, what they had there, and which ones we should be looking at to invest in. So when looking at our 17 cards here, we have this image. As we can see, Paxton was the Lightning. Felipe Rivero, definitely not getting him. Aaron Nola, Scope, Conforto, Chris Taylor, and Tommy Pham were your cards. I think of these, I think Chris Taylor and Conforto are both decent options. If we remember last time, Mike Zunino was an 88 as well in MLB 17. He got bumped up, so to speak, to Diamond for MLB 20 with this classic card. I think Scope's another good one as well, but they may boost him up a little bit and end up giving him a higher overall card a little bit later on in the program. Aaron Nola is not a bad one either. Again, another card that I think would probably get boosted to a little bit later on in the program. And while there's a lot of opportunities for investment with those later cards, we're really focusing on the first two. So from this one, really not a whole lot to work with. I think Chris Taylor, Michael Conforto, both decent options. But again, they're both outfielders. You can kind of dual invest there. Let's take a look at what we had going on in 18. Now, I don't have images of all the cards from 18. That would cause me to download MLB 18 to do that. Hey, never download MLB 18 again. So with the cards from MLB 18, let's see. I got them down right here. We had Yasmani Grandal, Corey Dickerson, Edwin Diaz, and then the Matt Carpenter Lightning card. So far, of those, I really think we could be looking at a Yasmani Grandal. Corey Dickerson wouldn't be bad either. Or an Edwin Diaz, maybe in that third card slot as well there. I think there's a lot of options there. And then moving on to MLB 19, what we had working with was Danny Santana, Travis d'Arnaud, Seth Lugo, Mike Clevenger, Roman Laureano, Tommy Kahnle, and then Yuli Gurriel. So when we're looking at these cards, those are our options. That's what we're working with. The question really becomes, where should we be looking at to invest? What should we be doing with? So the first thing I want to point out before we get into the rest of my predictions for this video, I had some people talking about last time they invested a lot in Brewers and they ended up losing stubs from investing in the Brewers. And that's why I'm going to preach it again. We've said it before, but you got to invest at normal prices. Okay. Looking at the Brewers last time, everyone was thinking Jesus Aguilar was going to be the first card to come out and player of the month. Everybody was investing super heavy in the Brewers. Guys like Locaine were up to like 16, 17, 1,800 subs. Vizael, Brandon Woodruff were around the 1,000 stub mark before the player of the month program dropped. So when it did drop, let's look at a Vizael Garcia here. When it did drop, as you can see, that 13th, 14th range, it went up a little bit, but honestly, not a whole lot. And it was close to where it was already. Same with Locaine. Take a look at him in his marketplace. Not a whole lot of rising for the player of the month program. He was even a little bit higher than what we see here prior to that program dropping. We just can't quite see enough with this marketplace trend here. So again, I gotta insist, you gotta make sure that you're investing in at good prices. That's why personally, I came down here and I was investing in some of these guys like Manny Pena at 150 subs a piece. We go look at his marketplace. He was up to, I think I sold all mine around the 500 sub mark, but you can even see he got even higher up to 800 subs, right? So I'm making a ton back on my investments because not a lot of people were looking at guys like Manny Pena. And of course, we ended up hitting on the catcher. So let's take a look at catchers real quick. A guy like Yasmani Grandal, the 82 overall, you can see what kind of things can happen when you hit on some of these player of the month investments. He was up. We just can't quite see the full trend line there, but he was up to 6,700 stubs on his trend line here that we can see. If you're in buying them at quick sell value, 1,000 subs a piece, and then you turn around and sell them for 67 700 subs, it's an insane investment. But you got to be able to invest smart. You know what I mean? You don't want to go out and invest in cards that are already inflated from other people investing. You got to get a little unique with it. I can't show off every card. You know what I mean? Can't show off every card to potentially invest in. We'd be here for hours doing so. So you got to be unique with it. That's why last time, as people went heavy in on the Brewers, I still thought Aguilar was going to be first. But as people started to go heavy in on the Brewers, I started looking at other options, and I invested in bronzes on the Brewers that were a little bit cheaper, and then bronze first baseman as well. Again, at that 100 to 150 sub range, sold them all off for around 500 subs. It's an insane profit. It's an insane investment, even when the market was super saturated with so many people investing in Brewers. And now, thankfully, I think this time, there's a little bit more options for this first card, a little bit more opportunity to diversify your investments. You definitely want to diversify as well. Don't put all your eggs, don't put all your stubs into one basket, into one card, into one team, into one position. Definitely diversify a little bit. Make sure you're making good decisions as well there. And that's going to help you a lot as we go through here and we give our predictions and the cards that I'm going to be looking at to invest as well. Make sure you're diversifying a little bit. And if you want a little bit more in depth and actually see some of the investment live, we will be doing some investments, looking over the market live on Twitch at twitch.tv/AnslarArmstrong. You can catch the link down in the description below. You'll be able to see all the investments that we're doing. We look at the market. We'll be looking at the market daily, headed up into Thursday. And then when Thursday drops as well, we're going to be out there selling our cards, hopefully making an insane profit there. So investment time. We've talked about the optional players. And again, we're not too worried about the bosses. We're not too worried about the fourth card, the third card. Worried about the second card and really the first card. And the reason that is that as time goes on, everybody gets a little staggered, right? So when the program drops, we're all live in the program at the same time. We're all on stage one. Everybody in the game is buying cards for the stage one exchange, right? So that's something to consider, is that those stage one cards for that first card in the player of the month are going to have the biggest impact, and then it's residual as you go down. If you do invest in the card, it ends up being stage two or stage three of the program, you will still see a good return. Last time, I ended up actually selling a little bit early. Jesus Aguilar was the second stage. I was thinking it was going to be first. I invested a ton of first basemen. They did go up. I sold them about 500, but as you could just see from that trend line, some of them got up to closer to 700-800 later on, a little bit later in the day, even into the next day as people were going through completing the program, and you had a lot less people selling those cards from investments. So sometimes getting in right at the start and selling is a great move, especially I think for those stage one guys as those prices skyrocket right out the gate. But some of those later stage two guys, or if you invest in some lower overall cards, there's not necessarily wrong with hanging on to those for a little bit. I sold mine too early last time, about 3 to 4 hours after the program launched, maybe even 5 or 6. And the next day, even not even the same day, the next day they were up way above what I sold them at. Is not necessarily anything wrong, but of course, the more you wait, the more risk you take, because the price can drop or it doesn't go up as much. So usually I like to be a little bit safer, take my investment, take my win. I know there's some who insist on holding them out and waiting because they're going to get higher later on. It's not a bad idea there. So definitely patience is key as well. Same with your investments. But without further ado, let's hop in and let's look at the cards who I think are going to be. This is my final prediction about who is going to be the cards for the July Player of the Month program here in MLB The Show 20. So the first one, we've already had 2 lightning bosses from MLB 17, but we haven't had a pitcher yet. I'm guessing James Paxton as a lightning boss. Now, again, for investment purposes, the lightning boss is actually completely irrelevant and will have 0 impact on the market, right? So don't be going out investing in starting pitchers. I would recommend against that strongly. Now, the fourth card in the program, I'm guessing Jonathan Scope. I think it's going to be a super, super sick card. 92, 93 overall. Really good card in the program. So for investment purposes, you could be looking at a couple Orioles, a couple second basemen. I don't think it's going to have a too big of an impact on the market. A bit of a riskier investment, but I think there is some potential there if we hit them. And you never know. He was a 92 in MLB 17, which translates to probably around an 86 overall, 87 in MLB The Show 20. So they could throw him out really early. Again, in terms of diversifying investments, I'm going to be throwing some out there. And especially where I can get a double dip on investments with some of these other guys as well. Now, I'm guessing the card after that is going to be Edwin Diaz. He's going to be the stage 3 of the program. Would be a pretty solid reliever, a flamethrower. If you get some good per nines, if you get some good control, wouldn't be a bad card. I wouldn't see a whole lot of market change there with relievers just because there are so many relievers to choose from. May not be too big of a change, but you could see some adjustments with Mets and relievers and pitchers there of that sense. Now, these last 2 cards are the ones we're really getting into and the ones that I'm going to show some examples of cards that I'm looking at right now. And ironically, as we sit here on the screen, it's Yasmani Grandal from MLB The Show 18. He was the July Player of the Month. The first card in there, or the second or third, it was a diamond in there, and he was for the Dodgers. So in terms of investments, it's not going to be for the White Sox. It will be for the Dodgers. But just looking at cards here, I see 3 great investments right here. Wilson Contreras, Gary Sanchez, and Mitch Garver, all at 1,000 stubs apiece. Now, the significance of that is that there is no risk. If I buy 100 Mitch Garvers at 1,000 stubs apiece, and I invest 100K stubs, and Grandal doesn't end up in the program, I lose nothing. I quick sell them, and I get every single stub back. I've seen a couple of misconceptions about this. I do want to point this out real quick. When you quick sell a card, there is no tax, right? So anybody who's fulfilling these 1,000 stub sell orders, there is tax. So if I come in here and I had a Mitch Garver to sell, and I do have one to sell, if I sold them for 1,002 stubs, I would actually be losing stubs. So I'd only get 901 stubs probably, or 900 stubs on the dot after that 10% tax. If I come through and quick sell him, I will lose no stubs because I'll just get that 1,000 with the quick sell. No tax on a quick sell is a tax on a sell now. So keep that in mind. In theory, these golds should never be under 1,100 stubs because that's that point where you then begin to lose stubs. But we will take advantage of people not knowing that. You can buy these for 1,000 stubs a piece. Gary Sanchez has no orders right now. I could buy them for 1,000 stubs a piece. We get Grandal. He goes up to 3 to 4K. That's printing money right there. I'll take that every day of the week. So I'm going to be looking at these catchers as well as potentially you could come in here and look at Dodgers as well. Let's pull them up. When we start looking at them, maybe Walker Buehler at quick sell isn't bad. If you can pick up this Gavin Lux at quick sell, as you can see, I like quick sell cards. If you get them at quick sell, you mitigate your risk a ton, right? If I pick up 10 Gavin Luxes for 50K stubs, he's not going to go down in overall, you know. So no risk anywhere. I can't lose anything. Same with a guy like Max Muncy, even Jansen and Turner, a little bit above quick sell value, but they're a bit higher overall, would have a higher increase. Minimal risk. That's what it's all about. Same. And if you are going to go look at silvers, make sure you're getting them at a good price. Silvers are a great investment, but you got to get them at a good price. If you look at David Price right here, no pun intended, usually he's around 460 to 480, 600 stub sell now price. He's at a 500 right now. It seems like a pretty fair price for him. I wouldn't mind picking up David Price at 505 subs if I was investing, because if we don't hit on it, I can most likely sell that back. Probably even make a couple subs just from a raw flip on him in doing so there. So those are the kind of cards I'd be looking at. So for the last card that we're looking at in this program, I may be a bit biased. And he was actually an 88 overall last year, so I'm not sure if he would quite slid into that first spot. I think maybe the second spot is probably a little bit more likely, and I hope he slips into that second spot, give him a bit better card. But I'm going to go with Danny Santana. I'm a Rangers fan. I'd love to see that card. One of the best silver swings in the game, one of the best swings in the game, absolutely mashes. And this MLB 19 card, his classic card, while he does play outfield, it is actually a first base primary. So we'd be looking at these first basemen, Yuli Gurriel, Jose Abreu, Max Muncy, Joey Votto. Just like we did with Jesus Aguilar last time, we can even drop down here and get Miguel Cabrera, Zimmerman, Hoskins, Daniel Murphy. These are all really good prices right here. Now, of course, if you're looking at this, we see Hoskins at $395 compared to Murphy at $550. Definitely invest in Hoskins instead of Murphy. But if you can pick up all these first basemen at quick sell value, it is an insane value. You can't lose any stubs long-term for picking up these guys at quick sell. I'm hoping that we get Danny Santana. I think it'd be a great card. I'm going to be investing both in some first basemen here, as well as potentially some Rangers cards. They are really cheap. They have a couple right at quick sell value. Lance Lynn usually gets down to quick sell value. Leclerc at 380 subs. These are good prices as well. Same with some of these silvers and some of these bronzes down here, a little bit lower overall. You could invest in Danny himself. I think there's a lot of good options. Now, I do want to hit on a couple other cards that could be potential as well, and some other opportunities. I think another really good investment opportunity that I'm for sure going to be throwing some into is outfielders. All outfielders as a whole, as we can continue from each one. Ton of quick sellers here at left field. Same with center field, same with right field. Lots of guys we can pick up at quick sell. I know I didn't actually predict that there would be any outfielders, but there are a lot to choose from. Guys like Chris Taylor or Conforto from MLB 17, maybe Corey Dickerson from MLB 18, Laureano from MLB 19, if they give that card. There are a lot of outfield options that could easily be in this Player of the Month program. So with how many outfielders there are and how easy it is to pick them up at quick sell value, I usually say that outfield is a pretty safe investment. Even if you don't hit, again, you picked it up at quick sell, you can't lose a whole lot of Stubs. So I would definitely recommend looking at outfielders, trying to pick up some of those as well in terms of just diversifying your investment. The other thing they could potentially do is drop us a pitcher early on. Not a whole lot of pitcher options, but there are a couple ones, and there are a ton of pitchers you can get here at quick sell value. They could drop us a Clevenger or somebody along those sense there. And, you know, maybe pitchers have a slight impact. If it is a pitcher, not going to be as impactful on the market because, of course, there are so many pitchers to choose from. More cards, same amount of demand, not going to go up as increased, you know, more supply. So not going to go up as much there. But I like throwing out, I'm going to throw out probably 50K on outfielders, 50K on pitchers. Just as like a nice, safe investment. I can't lose any. I'm getting them at quick sell. Zero chance I can lose. If I can double dip on a couple, I'll feel great. If I can get some teams with positions, if I maybe pick up some Dodgers or pick up some Rangers or something along those sense, you know, and double dip on my teams there, I feel really good about that. And I like to try to do that when I get the opportunity to, get the chance to there. But yeah, these are your pitchers and your outfielders are good, safe investments, nice blanket investments. And then with some other stubs, I'm going to go in hard on first baseman and catchers, really most likely. Because, you know, if I miss on some of them, worst case scenario, I can hold till the market goes up later on for another Player of the Month program, maybe Team Affinity 4. Who knows what's going to happen later on or when they'll be needed for other exchanges. But still, I'm getting them mainly all at quick sell value, and I feel pretty good. As you can see, we have about 779 stubs that we're working with. I will be bumping those out into the market and picking up both pitchers, outfielders, catchers, and first baseman. Those are the 4 positions I'm targeting with my stubs. That's what I'm recommending other people to targeting. As always, though, invest at your own risk. No guarantee anything ever works out. There's no guarantee that you make stubs. You got to invest smart, invest at good prices, and be willing to take that risk. If you don't want to risk the stubs, you don't want to lose them, invest a smaller amount. Maybe don't invest at all. Because sometimes weird things do happen. Like just like with Team Affinity 3, they dropped that. They made them sellable. They made packs 50% off. The market just incinerated. It went crazy. Who knows what's going to happen with this? But I do feel pretty good about a lot of these investments that we're throwing out here. That is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. The support helps the channel a ton. We are closing in on 5K subscribers. We have some awesome things planned when we hit that. Some really, really crazy stuff going on there. And let me know down in the comment section below, who are you thinking is going to be in this July Player of the Month? Who are you looking at investing? Did I miss somebody maybe that would be a great investment that we're not hitting on, that we're not talking about? Definitely let me know down in the comment section below if there's someone obvious that I'm missing. I think we covered most of the bases, but you never know. I miss things every once in a while as well. Until next time, though, I'll catch y'all around.